Computer. Welcome, welcome. So glad that you are all here. This is EDCI 318, educational, educational tech. So hold on one second. Did somebody just, let's see. Can't make it. Don't worry about the next Zoom. Just so you know, on this class, this is so just I'll kind of start here. That probably answers some of your questions, but this is a asynchronous class in the sense that we will not be meeting each week. This will be one of probably 2 meetings we have throughout the semester. I do this just so everybody gets a little FaceTime, and I make sure people are, at least I can put out my opinion, and at least you can put out my stuff so you know what my expectations are and a little bit about the class. About halfway through, we'll have another meeting, and it'll be optional. That one will be optional. Basically, I'll have a come on and I'll do a talk, and people will be on there. So that gives you a little more if you want to do a little one-on-one or FaceTime with us where you want to talk. That'll be about halfway through the semester, and but we'll record that and post that also. And so this is not a weekly meeting at 7 o'clock, so don't worry about that. You don't need to keep the camera on the whole time. You can, now I'd appreciate some people do, because again, just, my own insecurities and all that kind of stuff. But well, anyways, welcome to Ed Technology. And I'm going to start out with a statement that may sound weird, but I hope out of this class, one thing you do is use less technology in your classes. And I'll explain that why here in a second. But I feel like we use technology sometimes just for the sake of using technology. Like, we'll give a kid an iPad. Why? I don't know. They said those were good to give to kids, so we'll give them an iPad. And then the kids just wind up playing Space Invader math on an iPad for the whole class. But did we really is that making learning better? So throughout this class, one thing I want you to think about is when you use technology is to keep it intentional. So you should be using it very intentionally to enhance or somehow make your lesson better. If it does not add anything to your lesson, if it doesn't make it a better lesson, then don't use it. If that makes sense. Don't throw a PowerPoint up if you're just going to read it. If you're going to put a PowerPoint up with a bunch of words all over it, just give the kids the word. Just give them the handout. You don't need to sit there and read what they do. And we'll talk more about those kind of things. But you be very intentional. I am doing this because this helps this. That's the first thing. Second thing, many of you I will get that say, well, I'm not going to use technology, or we don't use technology in my subject. I'm a PE teacher. If I can use technology, you can use technology. Well, the music teachers say, well, we don't use technology in music. Well, yes, you do, because have you ever been to a concert? That's the most technology in the world. PE, got a watch. I have a treadmill right here. I have a watch. I use this all my workouts. You are going to use technology. And for you to say, I just won't use technology, to me, in a way, is very lazy, because guess where the students are right now? They're on technology. Our students use technology. They use phones. They use, their computers. It's part of their life. When I was your age, guys, when I was your age, we didn't have cell phones that were like my cell phone I had a phone, and I had 20 minutes of prime time, which meant anytime before 10 o'clock, I could talk for 20 minutes. And that was it. I didn't have all this other stuff. My first computer came about my junior year in college, where I could actually do something. And we used to there was one building. I went to KU, and I'm sure the same thing here at K-State, but there was one building where you could do email. That was it in the whole school, one building. So, but right now that's a totally different world. And you guys grew up in that world a lot more than I did. So to say, well, I'm just not going to use technology, that's very lazy, and it's not reality. We're going to talk about AI in here. And some people are very against AI, I think AI is lazy and we shouldn't use it. Okay, well, you're going to deal with it because your students are going to use it, right? And so when you say, I'm not going to use technology, and you go, I'm never using social media, it's bad for you. I get it. I get, and I will tell stories of I've had my kids have gotten into some of the worst trouble on social media. But the reality is, if I just say I'm not dealing with the technology and social media, I'm missing out on a big chunk of where my students are. So as a teacher, for you to be successful, you have to go to your students. It's not that your students have to always go to you. You have to go to where they are. And if you don't do that, you're going to miss out on a big. So I don't want to hear, I'm just not using technology. Because for somebody who would say, I don't use technology, well, we're on technology right now. Everything you do, you're in an online course. It doesn't get much more technology than that. Okay. Anyways, real quick about myself, for those of you who don't know, some of you, this is like your third or fourth time today hearing a little bit about myself, but I'll keep this the abbreviated version. I was an elementary physical education teacher. So as I told you, I went to KU. My wife and I went there. We met. I moved up to Omaha with her so she could go to dental school. Taught up in Omaha for a couple of years in Omaha Public Schools. Coached volleyball, girls basketball, and track. And then I came down after she graduated, moved to Manhattan. She was from Manhattan. She's a dentist here. And I taught out at Ware Elementary, which is over on Fort Riley. And I taught there for 7 years and coached middle school football, high school basketball, and a little bit of middle school basketball. Then I became a stay-at-home dad in 2008 to take care of my 3 children. My children are all adopted, so we knew going into my last year that we were going to adopt another child. So we decided I'd stay home. After about 5-6 years of staying home, I started going back to school. Got my master's at K-State in educational technology, hence me teaching this course. And then I got a doctorate in curriculum and instruction. I run the PE and health program, so all the PE and health teachers here know me. And I teach a lot of other stuff and do a lot of other things, and I'm not going to bore you with all that. One thing I will say is like I love what I do and I care a lot about it. And even though like right now we have 89 people on this, okay? My goal is to try to make this as individualized as possible. It's hard with 167, 170 students online. It's really hard, but we're going to try to make it work. 2, I understand this is a 1-credit course. You did not sign up for a 3-credit course. So I'm going to try to, and I think I do a really good job, is make it a 1-credit course worth of work, right? So this course in the very past has been known to be, not way before I taught it, was like people would teach this as a 3-credit course, even though it's a 1-credit. Well, you didn't sign up for that. So we'll keep it like that. We'll keep it light. There'll be sometimes you have a little more work, a little more prep, but most of the time it's not going to be. It'll be 1 credit worth of work. We'll kind of start off a little bit, somewhat slow, do a couple of things, and then we'll get into some meat of things that'll take some time. And then towards the end of the semester, when things are getting crazy in your other classes, we'll start backing off again. So maybe you have something to do every other week or something like that. So, but one of the biggest concerns I have with this class is I know it's a 1-credit class and I know it's online, and it's very easy to ignore this class and put this in as your last priority. Just let me put this out there. You have to have a C or better in this class for it to count. Okay. It doesn't count. And you have to have a good GPA to student teach. So I am going to be more than happy to give out 170 A's in this class. I'm happy to. All you got to do is turn your work in. You don't even have to come to class. You just have to turn your work in. And I already told you I'm going to try to keep that, down. As an online class, I'm here more as a facilitator. I'm going to give you some opinions each week. I'll send out videos. I'll get into that here in a second. I'll give you some thoughts, but the reality is I'm going to be providing you resources for you that you're going to have to do a little bit of work on and finish that. I'm not going to teach you how to use PowerPoint. That's not what this class to me is about. It's about using technology and education. So I'll give you options on how to do things. We'll go in here and talk a little bit more about that going forward. This class, unfortunately, I will tell you, is one of the most failed courses I teach, if not the most failed course I teach. And it is not at all because of the way I grade. It is purely because they just ignore it and they stop. It's 1 credit, it's online. And next thing you know, we've went 3 weeks and then 4 weeks, and now we're at 8-9 weeks that we have not turned in an assignment. And then boom, there goes the dynamite and you are out. So, and you have to retake it. So I've been telling you this. I will send you messages every time you miss a, like you're late. You're going to get a message from me. Okay. So you're going to know, and we're going to talk about the grades and go into here, but I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. You come talk to me. Let's get this going. Let's turn your stuff in. You'll do great. Okay. I'm here for you to do great. I'm not here to like, look at this, I failed 10 kids. I hate that. Okay. There's no reason for that to happen. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through the class with you. Again, if you have any questions, throw it over there in the chat and we'll address it either when I see it or when it's appropriate to do that. I'm going to share my screen here. So can everybody see the homepage? Yeah. Okay. So this is the homepage. You'll start here every week. I will update this by Friday-ish. Typically by Friday. Sometimes, things happen on Friday or Saturday and I don't get to it. But this page in your module will be updated typically Friday, so you can get ahead of things. This will be just kind of like a little blog about the week, and then what I will do is I will have a video typically like right here. That'll come out on Monday. There'll be a video for me. If it's not a video, it'll be an announcement. So make sure you're checking your announcements. But that's kind of where you just kind of take a look here at the beginning of the week. The main part of the course is going to be in the modules. You can see here, we have every week has a module. Week 1, you have assignments. Now we don't have any resources here, but you can go down here. Week 2, you'll have like a video. See, I'll put that video there. Then you'll have an assignment. You'll have resources. You can kind of see all the way down doing that. What I want to do is go into here and take a look at the syllabus real quick. And there's a whole bunch of stuff here. My GTA Joshua Schmidt, who some of you may know, he'll be doing most of the grading for this course. So if you have a problem with it, you can yell at Josh. And then, okay, so here we go. All work obviously is expected to be due on time. Now, in the past, what I've done is kind of in the rubric, I've had 5 points of the rubric has been for turn your work in on time. So I felt like what I was doing was kind of enabling people because it didn't really, if you lost it and, you can be 2 weeks late and you'd miss like 3 or 4 points. I've changed that. So what's going to happen is if your work is late, it's due at 11:59 on Thursdays. 99% of your work is due at 11:59 on Thursdays. If you turn it in late, the Canvas, not me, the gradebook is automatically going to deduct 10%. If you miss another day, it's going to deduct another 10%. And this is going to go on for 4 days until you're at 40%. So the max you'll lose is 40% of the grade. So that would take you that you could get the best grade you could get would be 60%. Now, I would still encourage you to do the assignment because 60% is better than 0%. Okay, and that might be the difference between getting a D and getting a C and having to retake the course. Certainly don't want you to have to do that. If it is more than a week late, so let's say something's due this Thursday, if it's next Friday and you haven't turned it in, you need to let me know. I'm not going to grade it until I hear from you. And it might just be an email, hey, sorry, life happened. Now, if I'm not contacted within 2 weeks of the date, like you just don't even, if it's 2 weeks late, you'll have a 0. You're going to, once I start grading, you'll put a 0 if it's not in there. And then once you turn it in, we'll fix it. But at 2 weeks, you have a 0 until you and I meet. So if it's 2 weeks, you and I will meet. 2 weeks late, we're going to meet either on Zoom or if you're on campus, we can meet face to face. That meeting will not be me getting mad at you. This is your education. Okay. This is not going to be me reprimanding you or telling you how disappointed I am in you. You're all adults, but it will be is me trying to understand what's going on and see if there's a way that I can help. Okay. There obviously is going to be a reason that this has happened. So I want to know what it is that I can do as your teacher to help you figure this out. It's going to be better if you do this earlier than later. The later you do this, the more stress you're going to have. Listen to me. I'm not going to stress. I have taken so much school. I went to as much school as you can go to, right? I have like a terminal degree. That means there's nothing else for me. I mean, I could go get another one, but I'm not doing that. So I'm not going to be overly stressed, except I will be frustrated, but please reach out to me. I can make your life better. I'm telling you that right now. I will make your life more relaxed if you will just talk to me if you're struggling. If it's consistently late, like let's say every week you're missing it by you're 2 days late, we'll have a conversation. This is where I go with all this stuff, people. We are in the College of Education. You are now in your blocks. You are in block 1. We are no longer in our intro courses. We are no longer in, biology 101, college algebra. These are courses that you want to be a teacher. This is what you need to do. And I can't imagine any of you who are going to be a teacher thinking to yourself, you know what? When I'm a teacher, I just don't care when kids turn their work in. They can turn it in late, right? I can't imagine any of us are thinking that. So if you want to be a teacher that thinks you can hold kids accountable, well, you got to first start holding yourself accountable, right? So just want to put that out there. This class, it blows my mind how many people fail it, and not one of them has ever failed it because of the quality of their work. Okay. If you do an assignment and you miss something, you don't have enough, you didn't do it right, whatever it may be, you just misunderstood it, I will let you know, Josh or whoever's him and I are grading it, will let you know exactly what you need to do, and we will let you redo it. You have a week to do that. So there's really no reason for you not to get an A on every assignment, because even if you mess it up, I'm going to let you redo it. Okay. All this other stuff, just kind of, by the way, just AI usage, we're getting really good at catching it. So I'm all for using AI appropriately. I kind of have it in here. We will actually do a project with AI, creating stuff with AI. I'm not against it, but if you like your reflections, like we'd have to do some kind of reflection or discussion board, and you do it, just know we're going to catch you. Real simple little things we can use that tell us if it's AI or not. So just don't put yourself in that position. Expectations, just this is my email. Actually, I have my cell number in here. I don't know why I do that, but it's been in there, so I just keep it. Just kind of what you can expect. Just real quick, if you email me, please put this in there. Like, don't just say, hi, I'm not going to have my assignment done this week, or hi, I don't understand the assignment this week. Let me know. Say, Mark Elner, EdTech 2024. I was telling the last class that literally somebody last year put your name, EdTech, or whatever I had on here. Don't do that. That didn't help the situation. My goal is really to facilitate this, to make sure this is the best experience possible. Okay. I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. If I happen to be on my phone and I see a message come through on an email, I'll answer it if I can. Or I might say, hey, can I check this out tomorrow morning? I need to look up, because sometimes I got to look stuff up to fix it. Whew. There's a lot of talking going on. I have a little thing here on how I grade, just so you know, like I'm not big with this many people. Like the way we grade, we use a rubric. I'll show you an example down the road here. We use rubrics. And that's because for 170 people, I'm not going to be able to, I don't want to just write nice job, and kind of make it. But like I said, we will comment if there's something wrong. But if you get 100%, I'm going to show you an example of a rubric here. This is the rubric for a lot of our discussions. So if you get 100%, you can come in here and go, oh, he thinks I demonstrated a high level of critical thinking. Analysis was thorough. I met all the requirements, and he thinks that was highly relevant and engaging. Now, if you have anything below perfect score, we will tell you what it is. Okay. But I do have there's a little video on that going more into that I made a couple of years ago. If you wanted to look at it, because people are asking me. Don't worry about that. We'll get into that later. So each week you'll have this. You'll come into the week 1, take a look at it. There's a lot in this one. It will not be this much all the time. Most of the time it's gonna be a lot less. I'll show you. And then you will have your assignments. So you have 3 things to do here. First is your pick collage Padlet. So again, one of the reasons I'm doing some of these things is this is stuff you could do in your own classroom. It's a Padlet. It's actually a tool we'll learn about a little later on called a curation tool. I know a lot of you have already done it, but just kind of take a look. Yep, very cool. So this gives me a chance, a little rock chalk. I love it. Gives me a chance to get to know you a little more. I have an example of myself right here. But this is something for me to get to kind of look at you. Just read the instructions, click on this, go up here. That you guys have a different, you'll see it differently. But right down here on the bottom right here, you click add and put it there. The Pick Collage, there's a app called Pick Collage or something like that. You guys are better at that stuff than I am. So that's pretty simple. And then our code word right here. Okay. The code word of the night is, let's go, technology. There's a surprise. So the code word in this, and I would do this now or whenever, if you can get on it now or whenever, but that is technology. Don't go telling all your buddies. It's only 10 points. I want everybody to watch this or at least be on the video. So the code word is technology. So we'll let it be at that. Your first assignment that's due is, so this is the only time you kind of have it done a little differently, where there's 3 little things, but this obviously takes 2 seconds. This doesn't take very long. So this is on Thursday night. You're going to come in here, and some of you have already done this. You're going to write a reflection about your current use, knowledge, and ability to use technology in an educational setting. So you will answer these 4 questions. Think about 100 words per question. If you come in and your answer to how I use current technology is I don't use technology, you'll get a note. If your answer should be more than just how do you currently use technology, you go, I use social media. It should be more than that. And be thinking of yourself, like we're going to ask kind of what's your level, number 5 being extremely comfortable, and number 1 being not comfortable at all, going through there. So you'll that's due Thursday night at 11:59. So at 12 o'clock Friday morning, it's late. So just remember that. So then each week you'll see here we have the start here page. Yeah. Whatchamacallit, we're going to talk about Go React, not getting into it right now. I'll do that next week, but you can kind of see here, you can see this is a lot shorter than the first one. It asks you what to do, and I'll go through that in our videos. But take a look just so you kind of know what we're going to go through this semester. So we'll start off. You have this, just kind of some get to know you stuff. Another introduction. This is Go React as a technology you will use throughout your time here at K-State. We'll talk more about why. Weeks 3 and 4, we're going to talk about access and diversity issues. The idea of, is everybody having an equitable chance with technology? COVID kind of blew that out of the water in the sense that we found out real quick, not everybody did have equitable. It's a difference between equal access. So I can give everybody an iPad and say, go home and do my assignment. That's equal. Well, equitable is, what about the kid that goes home and they don't have Wi-Fi? What about the kid that goes home and their parents don't have any, idea of how to use it? Or what if the kid goes home and they do have Wi-Fi, but it's not very good, or it's not in a safe situation, or whatever? That's not equitable. Then we'll have, so you see, we kind of slow play this a little bit. You write a reflection on access and diversity, the issues. The next week, you'll come up with ways that you will fix it in your class. And again, don't put, I won't use technology, because that's not an answer. Here we start to get in, this is talking about curation tools. It's kind of talking about a tool you can use. That Padlet's an example of a curation tool. We will do a social media assignment project. I'll get to that in a second. So social media discussion project. We'll talk about social media again. Listen, I'm fully addicted to it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's the worst time of the year right now. Every 4 years is the worst time to be on social media. And my kids, I hate how much my kids use it, but it is what is the deal. And so you can ignore it all you want. You're dealing with it. Then we will build a presentation. Now, what you'll see with my projects are, I'm not going to tell you I want you to make a PowerPoint. What I'm going to tell you is I want you to look at a bunch of different things, and I'll get into these resources will help you. And then you pick what you want to do. What is going to match best for you? Because what works for some people doesn't work for other people. What might work great in music may not work great in PE. What works great in English may not work great in ag. So you will, we'll give you an opportunity to build that. We'll talk about digital assessments. So digital, giving like simple digital assessment example is a Kahoot or a Google form, simple examples. We will do an AI thing, explore AI. Then we will make a video. And then we'll have an extra credit project down here. So that's kind of a quick little look at it. I took away the schedule. I may put that back in there, but now, does anybody have any questions on the web page, on our Canvas page? I've kind of honed this thing. I think it's really good. I think it's very self-explanatory. I think the assignments have enough detail in it to get you through. But if for some reason you're confused, please reach out to me. So each week when I send out a video, make sure you watch the video. If you come to me and you're like, I don't understand this, and I clearly talked about this in the video, I'm just going to say, go watch the video. Now, if you email me and say, hey, I watched the video, I'm still confused, then I'll talk to you. At any time you just want to stop by my office, or at any time you want to set up a meeting with me, you let me know. I will be as humanly flexible as possible. I will do whatever I can to make that meeting work. Okay. Real quick, this question, I think is good for everybody because I'm sure people are thinking, do we need to pick up an iPad from Catalyst for this course, or we can use our laptop? You do not have to use anything. You can use your laptop, you can use a PC, you can use a Mac, you can use everything. You can use an iPad. I will say there's some things that we have that you kind of need a laptop instead of an iPad. But yes, some of those of you that are in the, that you're in like the regular, you're not like you're an A. So if you're not an online student, so if you're just all this class, this is only taught online, but if you're not an online student, you're a face-to-face student, for the whole program, then you can go get a iPad from Catalyst, I believe, if you're in this class. So we actually used to hand it out in this class, but we don't do that anymore since it's online. Any other questions? I must be really good tonight. All right, so I want to end with a couple of thoughts here. There's going to be a time this semester that you are going to be struggling with something, and you are going to not want to do your work, and you're going to just get behind. And I know I've talked about this a little already, but to me, I promise you, any issue that you have, I've either dealt with it personally, my family's dealt with it, or my students deal with it. I'm not going to be judgy. I promise no matter what you come to me with, I'm not going to judge you. We're going to talk and work it out. So don't be nervous. Don't be like, oh, I just don't like to talk to people. This. My daughter, who's going to college, one of the things I've really been telling her is you need to talk to your professors. Like I had a few students today came up and introduced themselves to me. Like, I think that's awesome. Because now I know you. Now remember that. And it's really hard to give a student that I like, a bad grade. It's really hard. And I will usually do whatever I can to make that work. If you will just put in a little effort, things may fall off. The wheels may fall off. This is going to happen to somebody, right? The wheels are just going to fall off. Out of 170 students, something's going to happen. But I promise you, if you will just talk to me, we can make it work, and I will make you feel better about the situation, right? You will not leave my meeting or my office without feeling better. So what I don't want you to do is just ignore it. This class is not going away. You will not graduate from college. You will not student teach, and you will not move on until you pass this course with a C. If you get a C in this course, I'm going to tell you right now, that is on you. You should get an A in this course. There's no reason not to. I want you to learn. I don't want you stressing about the grade. I want you to be able to learn. Okay. Take something away from it. The great thing about being a PE teacher, I didn't grade for the most part, right? I went there and I was active with the kids and teaching them and getting the experience out. And it was very experiential. Oh, you threw the ball wrong? Well, I didn't put down an F. I showed you how to throw the ball right. So if you make a mistake, we'll fix it. Now, I have a great little comment here, and I hope you don't mind if I share this with you, but as one of our students who is older says, like, they just bear with, they're worried about the technology. 100%. So when I teach, I am not comparing anybody in here to anybody else except yourself. So some of you, it's going to be the fact that I submitted that assignment is impressive. The fact that I made a video and I got it to you, and all I said on the video is hi, is impressive. But what we're trying to do is learn new stuff. So that may be new for that person. What I would challenge you to do this semester is when you do things is don't do something you've already done. So for example, we're going to make presentations and you may say like, I've used Prezi a lot. I'm going to use a Prezi. So you just paid for a class to do something you've already done, right? You didn't learn anything by redoing it. So if you've done a Prezi, do something different on your presentation. When we do curation, don't say, oh, I really like this. I use it all the time. So this is what my project's going to be on. Or here's a project I did last semester. Try to learn something new. That's the whole idea of being here. And, we're going to make this, we'll make it fun. We'll have a good time with it, but please, please, please reach out and all those kind of things. Okay. I'm going to stay on here. When we end the meeting here in a second, I'm going to stay on. So if anybody's like, well, I want to ask a question, but maybe not in front of 90 people, I'll stay on and have that. But again, remember you have an assignment, your Padlet's due, I think tomorrow, and then your self-assessment is due Thursday. Following this week, everything's due on Thursdays. We'll talk about next week. No, not next week. The next week after, talking about doing some responses to grading. When I do have you do it, sometimes you'll do responses to each other. You'll like have a discussion, and then, or you'll do a peer review. The max you'll ever have to do is 2 of those, but that's just so you can get an idea, kind of see what other people are doing, not to really make you work a whole lot harder. All right. Well, I am going to stop